As a licensed cosmetologist for the past 12 years, I've had the opportunity to work with lots of different hair textures. And what I found is that the majority of people think that their hair is healthy. In actuality, I think that we're doing lots of things, maybe knowing and unknowing, that is really damaging our hair. So today, since we all have hair, and we all do something to our hair, we want to just discuss things that may be damaging our hair and how we can make our hair healthier. First, we want to take a look at healthy hair versus unhealthy hair. And with healthy hair, you'll find that the hair shines, it's easy to manage, it has good body, and pretty much it just looks good. However, with unhealthy hair, you'll find that it's weak, it breaks easily, it has tons of split ends. On an average, or the average person actually loses 125 strands a day. That's what we consider a normal hair loss. Anything beyond 125 strands is pretty much unhealthy, and you may want to review some things that you're doing to your hair to figure out why. First, we're going to examine the chemicals, a few chemicals, and how they affect our hair. Our first chemical is permanent hair color. And with permanent hair color, it actually raises the scales of the cuticle in order for the color to penetrate. There's actually two parts to permanent hair color. You're going to have your peroxide, or your developer, and then you're going to have the hair color. And basically those are mixed and applied to the hair to obtain permanent hair color. With the developer, is actually stripping your hair of its natural melanin, and melanin is what gives our hair its natural hair color, and it allows the new color to deposit into the hair. With permanent hair color also, we found that with repeated use, it ultimately is very damaging on your hair, because those cuticle scales can become permanently raised, and that upsets the moisture content in your hair, which of course causes it to break. And permanent hair color also can cause an increased porosity within your hair. And you'll notice some people who have very porous hair, because when you apply a permanent hair color, the hair comes out, you know, in this whole multicolor thing. It should be like all brown, but you'll have like a light brown root, a dark brown in the middle, and then the ends in some cases may not even color at all. Next, we're going to look at our temporary and semi-permanent hair colors. And with those particular products, it's actually less damaging on the hair, because it only coats the hair shaft, which I have a diagram here showing the hair shaft as well as the hair cuticle, and it coats the hair shaft and it just adheres to that. With the temporary or semi-permanent hair colors, they're easily shampooed off, so they're actually more popular nowadays. The next chemical that we're going to look at is chemical hair relaxers, which are predominantly used by African American hair textures. And basically, this particular product goes in, it breaks the bonds, and it reforms into a new shape, which in this case would be a straighter shape. With chemical hair relaxers, we found that there are a few damaging factors, and using the incorrect solution concentration has attributed to damage, such as pretty much with chemical hair relaxers, they come in a mild, a regular, and a super. So if you have a person with thin hair, if they're using a super product, then that's not good. They should use something that's more mild. The super will cause, it's stronger, and it will cause more hair breakage. We've also found that with timing mistakes, leaving the product on too long has attributed to damage with chemical hair relaxers, and also not rinsing the product out correctly. Within the salon, because you're laying back in the shampoo bowl, if your stylist is not properly rinsing the nape of your neck, then the chemical is left on there and it continues to process. The next chemical is perms, and perms are actually used by Caucasians. It gives hair curl and body, and that's pretty much what they use it for. With this process, it is very similar to that of the chemical hair relaxer, in that it breaks down those bonds, those disulfide bonds, and it reforms it into a new pattern. And the only difference with that process is that after the hair is shampooed, it's set on a rod like this. It's set on the rod, and then a permanent solution is applied to the rod. There's time given, which allows it to process. It's then rinsed, and the neutralizing lotion is applied, which ultimately locks that hair into the new curl there. And then you have the permanently waved hair, or curled hair. Finally, after going over the chemicals, we now want to talk a little bit about how to acquire and maintain healthy hair. The first thing that we can do is make sure that we're using a good conditioner and that we're conditioning our hair well, because a conditioner increases that moisture content. It adds the moisture back into the hair. It sort of weatherproofs our cuticle, just to make sure that when we're using heat and other things, that it's protecting our hair as well. And if you're with conditioners, you want to make sure that there's a dimethicone product in there. It's a silicone compound that weatherproofs the cuticle ultimately. Also want to make sure that you have your ends cut regularly. Make sure that your stylist is using quality steel shears. With these shears, they're sharp and they're going to give you that clean cut, versus using a razor or a dull pair of scissors, which leaves hair with a jagged edge, or it just leaves the ends kind of ragged, and it causes split ends basically, because if that cuticle is not cut right, it's going to split, and thus you're going to have split ends. You also want to make sure that you're using a large tooth comb or a brush with round edges, so that you're not actually ripping out your hair when you're just doing your daily maintenance on it. Finally, we want to make sure that we're reducing the amount of blow drying, because heat in itself is going to reduce the moisture content in our hair. We want to make sure that if we are blow drying, that we're not using too high of a heat. When you go to blow dry your hair and you see that steam come off, that's actually the water in your hair that's boiling, and that boiling causes your hair to break, or even it just makes your hair weak. So we want to make sure if you're using blow dry, use it on a lower heat. In conclusion, our hair care is basically within all of our control. It's all about the practices that we take with our hair, the type of products that we use, and if we increase or try to get better products and just do better process for our hair overall, we can maintain or acquire that healthy hair that we all want to have. And I thank you for your time.